Hello, so something very interesting happened the other day. The police visited me regarding some of the radioactive items I've got, so that was all quite fascinating, but they were very professional and everything. There was no issue really. But, you know, it is quite interesting, isn't it? If you do videos on this sort of stuff like I do, it might come to somebody's attention and then they might worry about it potentially, so... Yeah, basically they just wanted to know, why I had the stuff, and obviously I said because, I do videos on Geiger counters, dosimeters, all this sort of stuff, and without radioactive items, you can't check they work, and, what you need to do obviously is, basically have items so you can use them as a check source and find out they work. Obviously what I'd done to the best of my knowledge is looked up everything I owned was actually completely UK legal. As in, I don't own anything that you're not actually allowed to own as a civilian, like I think, for example, plutonium you're not allowed to own. I have no idea how you can get it anyway, but... so yeah, a lot of it was just simply, I'll flick the Geiger counter off, because that would probably annoy people a bit ticking, but it is ticking totally at background anyway. But yeah, so it was more of a case of, why did I have it, to test the things, how did I store it, and I said about, storing it in ammo boxes with lead shielding around it, just so it's not a threat to anybody, neighbours, me, family members, whatever, and I think they were all very happy. I did invite them if they wanted to have a look at it, but they didn't need to, so, yeah. So, it just makes you think, doesn't it, and this is why I want to stress to people as well that, in these things, this is why I don't do anything that could be considered dodgy or illegal content. Everything I own is UK legal as far as I'm aware. That's the main thing I have to stress as far as I'm aware, because again, with laws, some laws you can't, read into, but I'm not purposely going to buy something that's illegal. And I think it would also be a very big Darwin Award kind of level of stupid if you've got something illegal and then you put it on the YouTube channel for other people to see, because then that makes it very obvious to the police, doesn't it? Yeah, it was all quite fascinating, honestly. It was a CBRN officer, and just, yeah, wanting to know about the stuff I've got, and all that. And then I think, hopefully they were happy, that I'm not posing a threat to anyone. I guess the bigger worry is as if they think, you've probably got some sort of religious or ideological extremist view that might be the reason you got it. And I think when you maybe come across as being autistic and just, into physics and Geiger counters and whatever, it's a lot less scary. But yeah, so that was just something I thought might interest people. I don't know if any of the other people in the UK who've done videos on forum type stuff have been, had a similar visit, because that's quite interesting, because I know like Big Clive, who's the big Scottish sort of electronics sort of channel, electrician channel, he's done a few videos on forum and other things, and he's even done some joke videos, I believe, and this is the main thing where I say joke videos, on plutonium. Where it wasn't obviously real plutonium. I think he'd got a bit of like a thorium lamp mantle, stuck it in something and pretended it was plutonium for a joke video. But it does make you think, doesn't it? Because the cop did say to me, it is a bit Big Brother-ish where, we know what you've done. Well, I did say to him, in all honesty, I'd kind of much rather the police investigate people who turn out to be nothing than miss people who might actually intend to do harm. So, I just thought it was interesting, so... we've learnt that, I guess, the system does pick up on things that might be a threat, and that's good, because as I said, you'd rather they, just politely ask you, why you've got the stuff and then rule you out, hopefully, rather than, go after, not go after anybody and then find somebody does a terror attack using something or whatever. So, yeah, that was all quite good. They were all very professional. I said, I've got no problem with police here or whatever, because I know some of my subscribers are police or former police, aren't they, so... whether or not the police at the moment are subscribed, like, for an official thing to check out what I'm doing, I don't know, but whether or not they add to my sub count, but, yeah. He was also saying a bit about the Chernobyl TV series and other stuff, but that's why a lot of people, I think, got into all this stuff. And he wanted to know how many sort of Geiger counters I had and all that, so I was just saying a couple of rate meters like that one I was just holding up, some dosimeters, a couple of Chinese Geiger counters or whatever, the old MD3s, the Mark II Radiacs, and I think after a while probably the policeman thought, I've got enough reason to have it. But yeah, that's what I was just sort of saying of it. So it's, obviously make sure when you're doing stuff, if you're like me and do stuff on YouTube, that it's all legal and above board. Because again, this is the thing that if you put videos in a public place, people can look at them and then say, should you have that? So hopefully it was just the police on their own initiative looking into it. Or it could have been maybe somebody who was concerned, saw a video and thought, can somebody have that, didn't know the laws or whatever, and flagged it up. I mean, the thing you'd hope is it wasn't somebody who's being like a troll and saying, I know this is legal, but I'm going to waste police time. Because if so, that's like the biggest dick move ever, because you're wasting cops' time. But, like I said, I think they're perfectly happy with it, and like I said, I wouldn't have this stuff in the house. It's got lead sheeting around it, and obviously I store it in a room where there's not loads of people, but well, there isn't people unless somebody goes into one of our junk rooms, you know, and it's not where it could be easily stolen. But, you know, that is a thing I think with importance of, if you have old radioactive check sources, make sure you store them properly. You know, you don't let kids get access to them, or animals or whatever. But, you know, it's all just very interesting, so yeah, I'd like to know in the comments actually if anybody else has had similar experiences. There's a guy, I can't find his original channel now, but he has one of the biggest private collections of radioisotopes and things like that you can all own perfectly legally in the UK. You know, where he's got like a big cabinet full of radium watches, radium aircraft dials, you know, like lots of thorium items, lots of, you know, the old radioactive quackery stuff. And I think he said in maybe on the comments when his channel was still up that, you know, the police did look into it and they were perfectly happy when he explained, you know, he knew what he was doing with it. He made sure that, you know, due to inverse square law, if you weren't on his property or whatever, there was going to be no absolute, you know, it would be complete background levels of radiation. But yeah, it's quite fascinating, isn't it, really? So, there you go. Police did a very professional job, and as I said, you know, no issue with it. They can come back again and have a look at any of it if they want to. But, yeah, I just thought it was all very interesting, actually. But, you know, I suppose it was a while coming, wasn't it? I've had this channel since 2012, but, you know, it wasn't any of the crossbows, the knives, the machetes, the maces, anything like that I legally own. When I say mace, I mean like flanged mace, bludgeoning maces, you know, like medieval weapons, not maces in pepper spray, because that is illegal and I don't own it. But, you know, it's sort of interesting. It actually always just came down to, like, physics kind of stuff that I've got into in the last year. You know, like Geiger counters and radioactive check sources. But again, I suppose those are the sort of things that might be on a terrorist's list of things they might want to do harm with. But yeah, there we go. So, pleased to say, the police came, had a look, all very professional. You know, there we go. So, whether or not I get a badge of pride now that I might be on some sort of terror watch list, I don't know, but it's quite interesting, isn't it?